This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Thursday, August 31st, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. About 5 years after they hit the market, several Hoosier cities are pressing the brake on electric scooters, while others are building infrastructure to better accommodate the rapidly growing transportation alternative. The city of Fort Wayne announced August 8th that it terminated its contract with Santa Monica, California-based Veo, meaning all e-scooters and seated scooters must be removed from the city before September 4th. Meanwhile, Bloomington has added new scooter corrals, geofencing, and other requirements to better enforce good rider behavior and limit complaints in dangerous situations. Bloomington City Public Works Director Adam Wason.
So, it's had pros and cons for the transportation network, but I think city administration and staff would argue that the pros have outweighed the cons overall.
This transportation option has been a prime instigator of public attention. Common complaints include the blockage of sidewalks, inappropriate rider behavior, and improperly parked scooters. On the other hand, riders in several cities say the scooters have filled a critical gap in public transportation. Disabled American veterans and recruit military are putting on a job fair Thursday in downtown Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Veterans Job Fair will take place from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Lucas Oil Stadium. The event is free for veterans and their spouses, as well as active duty personnel and members of the National Guard and Reserve. More than 50 employers representing the construction, medical, administrative, and logistics industries, among others, will be in attendance seeking staff from entry-level to senior management. Fort Wayne-based Vera Bradley Incorporated is reporting fiscal second quarter net income of $9.3 million, compared to a loss of $29.8 million during the same period last year. CEO Jackie Ardrey says the switch to profitability is the result of continued efforts of the company's Project Restoration initiative launched earlier this year. The 1.2% revenue decline in the second quarter, according to Ardrey, can be partially attributed to the store closures over the last year, but the return of the Vera Bradley annual outlet sale offset some weakness the company saw in its factory outlet stores. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
For 25 years, we've had the honor of telling the story of Indiana business. More than 1,300 shows, 8,000 interviews. We've traveled from Valparaiso to Versailles, Fort Wayne to Fort Branch, and everywhere in between. And we are just getting started. Our team is passionate about Indiana business because your story is worth telling. Join us every week as we travel the state to bring you Indiana's story. Inside Indiana Business, 25 years and counting.
Republican Senator Chip Perfect of Lawrenceburg said he will resign effective September 26th after 9 years representing Southeast Indiana's Senate District 43. The longtime Indiana state senator announced Wednesday that he will resign, citing the growing pressures of balancing his legislative duties and business, personal, and family obligations. Indianapolis Dr. Caitlin Bernard will not be appealing a ruling from the Medical Licensing Board earlier this year, in which she was reprimanded for violating patient privacy laws. The Indiana Medical Licensing Board found that Bernard broke both state and federal patient privacy laws when she publicly discussed the case of a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio seeking an abortion in Indiana. The 14-hour hearing in May concluded with sanctions and a $3,000 fine. Bernard shared the story with a reporter last summer just before lawmakers convened in a special session to consider the near-total abortion ban and attracted national attention, with some political figures accusing her of lying to sway legislators. A team of Purdue University and Illinois Institute of Technology competitors have qualified for the finals of a global challenge in tropical biodiversity. The X Prize Rainforest Competition is a 5-year challenge with a total $10 million prize purse. The Purdue and Illinois Institute of Tech team, called Team Welcome to the Jungle, was one of 2 semifinalist teams to cover about 150 acres of rainforest using drone technology. Experts in civil, mechanical, and aerospace engineering from the 2 schools worked with researchers from Natural State, which operates a research center in Africa, and the Morton Arboretum in the Chicago suburbs. Former MLB pitcher Drew Storen is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.